Good evening, my name is Peter Nehsahn, and this is Psychology 202A, Relational Psychology, Block 1 with Professor Brian Crittenden. This presentation is session 2, Perception and Cultural Presentation. First, we're supposed to define what is web-based social cognition. But we have to further try to understand the definition of social cognition before we can even talk about web-based cognition. As the writer of our textbook said, in simple English, it's social cognition refers to both the process of perceiving others and cognitive strategies we use for understanding our broader social world. It helps how we sometimes prejudicially judge others when making decisions regarding helping and intervening in certain situations. We use social cognition to routinely understand people we come in contact with and may include our interpretation of the action or intention of political candidates, potential love interest, or suspicious-looking person on campus. In this context, social cognition refers to growing technological advances in research to explore the manner in which various social psychological phenomena are enacted or conducted on the internet or cyberspace. So this observation is done using the internet. Participants are giving specific questions, and they're supposed to interact and observe each other, and at the end of research or the study, participant will be evaluated, and in terms of their likability, friendliness, or trustworthiness. And as the writer also quoted, or quotes us, that the findings may suggest some consistency between first-time impressions made in real-life day-to-day observational impressions based on information found on web pages. In other words, what you do in real life, day-to-day interaction with other people, or how you perceive them, or your first impression about them is almost as same as if you're doing it on the internet. So the authors conclude that though there are qualitative differences between real-life social interaction and online interaction, it appears that both real-world and online perceivers use some of the same strategies for making first impressions. In other words, when in real life or web-based, human perception and impression of each other remain practically the same. And in terms of culture, how culture relates to our perception of others and ourselves. Culture plays an important role in the way we perceive others in relationship to ourselves. The video we watched with Julian S. Burrell explained that we all see the world through culture glasses, the lens through which our brain see the world, shape our reality. If you can change the lens, not only can you change the way your brain perceives behavior, but you can see the way people relate to culture differences. In other words, what we perceive or observe when we move to a different society may shape our reality. Or when you move to a different culture, what you see and what you observe and how you interact with the people in that culture will eventually shape your reality. Burrell also summarizes these into confront. In other words, when you move into a new society, you think your behavior is the best, is the right behavior. And when you do that, you almost isolate yourself. You complain when you isolate yourself because you do not fit into a particular culture. You complain all the time, well, this is different and I don't belong here. But when you conform, when you finally adopt your ways to the society or to the culture that you just move into, and this will benefit you through diversity, through observation, learning and understanding the behaviors of others, and adapting your own so that it fits the society you live or the culture you live in at a very time. So session 2 has to do with culture, and we will talk to select a different culture that we don't know about and contrast and compare and contrast with American culture. So I chose Japan, and it's really unique. Japan is a nation of. First, I'll go back here, and because there's so many differences between the culture of the United States and Japan, I was really constrained to just limit my research to the roles of men in the society, nationalism, individualism versus collectivism, respect for authority versus freedom of speech in the United States, public displays of affection or PDL, and work ethics. And Japan is a very small nation, but it's made up of so many islands, about 1,200 islands. And the 4 main ones are Hokkaido, Honshu, Kaishu, and Shikoku. Shikoku. Japanese call the island nation Nippon or Nehsahn, which means source of the sun. The name Japan is derived from Cipango, the name given to the explorer Marco Polo. So quickly, these are the differences. There are no rules when it comes to gender. There are no rules gender's rules in Japan are real strict. It's not like in the United States, so women, the Japanese, they believe that a man is a man, a woman is a woman, and the Japanese are nationalistic people and maintain their pride in the peace and post-peace, whereas American political, they want to be involved in all political activities. In Japan, the Japanese belong to a society. They belong to a group or a family. They cherish their family, their group. But in America, we focus on individualism, and we want to focus our attention on our own accomplishments. And when it comes to work ethics, they have to be on time. They have to be on time. And in Japan, people don't change company. They work for a company almost their entire lives. Whereas in America, in your life, you can work for maybe 15 different companies. Freedom of speech is not what it is in Japan as it's in the United States. Because in this country, freedom of speech means you can say anything you want to say. You're permitted to say. Any age group can say anything about a ruler or president of the United States without respect or any courtesy. Whereas in Japan, hierarchy, and the younger people respect the older folks and they listen to them for wisdom. And Japanese do not criticize or ridicule their leaders in public. All right. Japan has no written rules regarding display of affection, but Japanese front on those who kiss in the public or who hug each other show romantic feelings in public or physical affection where others can see you. Whereas in America, no problem whatsoever. You can kiss anywhere, you can hug anybody, anywhere. You can wear shorts, you can jog almost naked, but in Japan it's not. But in America, you wear shorts, people admire you, everybody be looking at you without judgment. But in Japan, the looking is they're really trying to judge you because you don't dress appropriately. And I was really surprised to learn that there are very few women in politics in Japan, even in this century. and that women who want to have children will remain at home as mothers rather than being in the workforce. I was also surprised to learn that the Japanese do not show physical or romantic affection in public. My perception or previous impression about the Japanese culture were obtained from watching Japanese movies and made for the West or for Africa. And in those movies, you see public display of affection, nudity, and stuff like that. But I'm surprised that here, reading about the culture, you don't see that there. And in conclusion, this was my biggest surprise of them all: gender fluidity. I mean, you in America, you can get up in the morning and say you're a man. Even though you're born a woman, but you can get in the morning and say today you're a man, and that does not exist in Japan. Gender rules are strict. So in the current American society and culture that we're living in now, anyone can rise up in the morning and change his or her gender, irrespective of the created order or biology. And finally, welcome to the era of gender-neutral culture with gender-neutral restroom. Thank you so much, and this is my presentation again. My name is Peter Nehsahn. Thank you. God bless.